Trigger warning. This story contains references to domestic violence and female rage. Hello, and thank you so much for your support. By purchasing this audio story, you are helping an independent writer to continue with the creation of more interesting story content. Womantown is a Fat Girl Freestyle original story, read and recorded by Fat Girl Freestyle Studios. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And again, thank you so much for your support. They won't show you our town on a map. There are no coordinates, no mile marker, just pines bowed together like women in prayer, a rusted gate, and a call box that doesn't ring unless a woman needs it to. My name is Terry Lynn Huber, founder, caretaker, keeper of a town made from the stubborn breath that wouldn't leave my chest when someone tried to steal it from me. The only way to find this town is if the women who keep its secrets find you. They offer protection, resources to those who need to escape dangerous situations. They ensure passage to a new, safe, and peaceful life. 32 years back, I came into these woods, barefoot with blood drying on my collar and fear beating like a second heart. I made a promise to that scared heart. No woman sleeps afraid here. Not under my watch. Not while I still know how to use a gun and look a man in his eyes. We call it Womantown. 200 residents, if you count babies and chickens. We've got a diner with biscuits that break like clouds. A salon where you can cry in the chair and call it a wash. A homeschool co-op. And a general store that smells like soap, wood, and second chances. Most who come stay. We have everything we need here. We have the sun. We have the rain. Most importantly, we have each other. There's a gate you meet before you meet me. It's a big old thing, swallowed by trees. If you've got business in Womantown, the call box finds my device, and I answer on the second ring. The rules: respect the quiet, protect the children by any means, no weapons out unless necessary, and only one man, and one man only, sets foot past that gate. His name is Mr. Mills. Back when these acres were wild, he cleared the thick. He built the first tiny homes. He fixes what breaks, keeps to his side unless we call. He's the kind of man who lets a woman keep her dignity by minding his own. Quiet isn't fear. It's the sound peace makes when it's finally got a home. I ended up here because I was hunted. Not by a stranger, but by a man who promised me love. Only promise he did keep, though. I would never forget him. And I haven't. But memory and fear ain't the same thing. And in Womantown, we practice the difference daily. Mr. Mills found me by the creek, knees busted, eyes wide as midnight. He handed me a drink of water, and he said, if this land is truly yours to keep, make it ring with your name. And so I did. I rang this land with my name. Then I rang it with every woman's name who ran, crawled, or prayed their way after me. We grow tomatoes that taste like August. We fix roofs, engines, and hearts when they come broken. We teach our girls not to shrink. We teach our boys to leave strong, not scared. We teach them what it truly means to be a man, a protector, a partner. At 18, we help them move on with a blessing so long it tucks into their bones. Phones sleep in baskets during dinner. We choose a different kind of signal here. Footsteps, laughter, a friendly knock at a door. There are many stories from women and how they ended up here. Most begin the same. A man made a promise, took a vow, and then broke it in the worst way possible. Once they find Womantown, they are usually safe. The men don't go looking to find them. They just move on to their next victim. And then there are those who are relentless at finding what they believe to be theirs. They stop at nothing to regain control. These are the ones that we prepare for. And I can sense them before I see them. And the story replays just like mine did all those years ago. One day, a young lady named Beverly found the call box. Her lip was split. Both of her eyes were bruised and blackened, bloodshot. Her knuckles were scraped up. She was trembling. Two little girls were hiding under a blanket in her back seat, just as scared as their mama was. She pressed the button, and her breath filled my ear. Please, she whispered. I think I made it. I opened that gate myself. You're safe now, I said. And for several months, she healed. She worked in the diner. She laughed, braided hair, planted herbs. Her daughters, June and Bertie, learned to sleep with both eyes closed again. We give an orientation for every new sister. We teach them to breathe. We teach them to cook for a whole mess of people. We teach them how to spot a storm half an hour before it comes. We teach them their right to say no. We teach them to rest. And when the time is right, we teach them to stand tall and mean it. Then, after a while, her mama took sick. She left one morning to go visit her. She promised to be back by dark. I watched her drive off and I prayed. Whenever anyone leaves, whether temporary or permanently, I always watch them leave, and I send them off with a prayer. By the time she came back, the sun was gone. I watched a trail of dust off in the distance behind her. I saw headlights. And that's when I knew. I was at the gate on my usual patrol. So I was ready. Beverly pulled up, waiting to be let in. The truck pulled in behind her. A man got out real slow, full of arrogance and old habits. He approached Beverly's window and she screamed. I was already at the man's back, telling him he had no business here. He turned. Just hear from a wife, he said. She ain't here for you, I told him. He spat. You got no right to keep what's mine. I smiled. She ain't a thing, and this place ain't yours. Behind me, 3 women stepped out. Ruth, Candace, and May. We don't raise our voices here. We raise our presence. Beverly, I said, without taking my eyes off the intruder. Take your girls to the diner. Let Miss Prue fix you some waffles. She hesitated for a moment. Old behaviors go slowly sometimes. But she went. The man lunged at her vehicle. I cracked him in the back of the head with the butt of my shotgun and watched him fall into the dust. I motioned for Ruth and Candace. They each grabbed a leg, drug him to the side of the road while May went to get my truck. We lifted him into the bed, Ruth and Candace sitting with him to keep him quiet just in case he came to. We drove to Mr. Mills's place. See, Mr. Mills was a farmer. He had lots of land and plenty of animals. Those animals included some hogs. 20 of them, to be exact. Big old things. Smart. They could be affectionate. But don't ever turn your back to them. That could be dangerous for you. They would eat any and everything placed in front of them, not leaving a trace. We pulled Beverly's husband from the bed of the truck. I tossed some water on him to make him come to. He shook himself awake and looked around, ready to fight. I pushed the barrel of my gun into his chest. I made sure he was looking directly at me. And I told him, 32 years ago, I was married to a man just like you. Name was Poe. From the very beginning of our marriage, he would beat me senseless, thinking that was a way to keep your wife in line, your property. He treated me like cattle. Only thing he didn't do was put a tag on my ear. I finally got away from him after 6 years of terror and almost dying twice. Once, because I tried to take my own life. I made a promise to God that if I survived, I would make sure no other woman would have to live like I did. The day I got away, he had beaten me so badly. Blood was running from the top of my head into my eyes. I hopped into my car and drove until it ran out of gas. I ran on foot the rest of the way. The good Lord was guiding my steps because I ended up here. I knew my husband would be on my heels, but for the first time I felt safe. I made the land mine. Worked it with my own hands. Then one day he found me. I'd gone into town to visit family. And he followed me back. But I wasn't the same woman that left, bloodied and scared, afraid to use her own voice, afraid to protect herself. He tried to attack me, and I shot him dead. He was gone before his head hit the ground. And that's how we ended up here, at the hog pen. Stand him up, I told Ruth and Candace. They each grabbed an arm and tugged him to his feet. Turn around, I told him. I want the last thing you see to be the place where you're going to end up. He turned and tried to run, but I shot him in the back of the leg. He dropped, squealing, just like a pig. This is where you end, boy. You won't be anything more than a pile of hog shit. Something you've been all your life. Only thing that'll remain is some hair and teeth. And even that will disappear. One shot. And that was it. The world just got a little less miserable. The hogs, they ain't good. Mr. Mills knew the routine, and I would see him in a few days with some buckets of fertilizer for our plants. We made our way back to Womantown and to the diner for a good meal. Beverly was sitting at the counter with her jacket still on, arms tight and keys clutched in her hand. Miss Prue was pouring her some coffee. I thought I was done running, she said. You are, I told her. You are when you're here. Healing happens when you make space for it to stretch its legs. In Womantown, there's nothing but space to stretch out. The next morning came with biscuits and hymns. We don't have a church. Our faith is the table. I reminded everyone that we are safe. Later in the afternoon, I took Beverly walking by the creek. That same creek that I had found so many years before. I keep waiting to feel guilty for feeling safe, she said. That's a trick the dark plays, I told her. Safety ain't a sin. She laughed at that. Thank you, she said, for the gate. I nodded. Mr. Mills came by later on to fix a hinge. Hey there, Miss Terry. Hello to you, Mr. Mills. Some debts are silent and sacred. We don't speak of the past. We let it stay buried under the magnolias. He fixes. We live. That's enough. We drill sometimes how to move if danger comes, how to stay calm and keep yourself composed. We practice peace, but we also practice how to use a piece. We stay ready, and that's the balance. Every now and again, a random visitor may come, They've heard through the grapevine about Womantown. They want to interview some of them. Others come with curiosity. But that gate, it stays shut. Womantown don't need an audience. It needs faith and safety. Storms roll through of all kinds, washing old names off the dirt road. We rebuild, replant, and rise again, because that's what we do. New women arrive. First thing they ask, how long can we stay? And I tell them, as long as your breath wants a home. They ask, what about work? I smile. We've got that in abundance. We teach our girls laughter and joy, how to embrace it. We teach our women that rest is not a reward. We teach safety as a practice. And if they choose to leave, we give them bread and the number to the call box. If the world grows teeth, I say, you come home. Evening falls. I walk the gate, oil the hinges. I whisper the names of those who've come and gone. I touch the metal and I remind it and myself the reason why it stands and will continue to stand. If you're listening to this and your breath is shallow because something in you recognizes the shape of these words, know this: the world you were given is not the only one that exists. There is a door somewhere waiting for you to knock. Maybe it's ours. Maybe it's yours. Either way, you deserve to walk through it without fear. If you find that gate, if you find yourself outside by that call box, press that button. Say your name. You'll hear my voice answer in return. Womantown, you made it. And here, you're safe. Thank you so much for listening and purchasing this original Fat Girl Freestyle Independent